Hey, what's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the top 10 worst movies of the year. And you know, there's a few movies that I won't be able to see this year, so this is potentially going to be an unfinished list. But obviously I'm not going to wait till March to do it. That's redonkulous. So let's get cracking. Coming in at number 10 with an overall score of 54% is the third installment in the Conjuring franchise, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. There's a few reasons why I have this movie rated so low, but the main one is that the film was rather bland and mediocre, and it's a far cry of what made those first two movies as good as they were. You know, it had its moments, but it's nothing that you need to see. At number 9 with an overall score of 52% is Theyre Outside. One of the screeners that I received this year shot mockumentary style. It's about a woman with agoraphobia that a psychologist is working on resolving, but he finds out that her rational fears may not be so irrational after all. You know, there's aspects to the concept that I did indeed enjoy, but a lot of it felt like a nothing movie, unfortunately. Obviously, low budget, didn't know how to tell the story effectively without a bigger budget. At number 8 with an overall score of 51% is Chaos Walking, one of the bigger screeners that I received this year from Lionsgate. This was a film adaptation of a book that I had read, and I'll be honest, neither the book nor its adaptation are really that great. It's about mind reading, which is cool, and it stars Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley, which again is cool, but when you have all these voices going on at the same time, it gets to be jarbled, understandably so. And on top of a story that's already convoluted and messy, it was just, you know, not the best time of the movies for me. At number 7 is Silent Hours with a score of 46%. Another screener. Silent Hours was a mini-series dressed up as a film, and you can't fool me otherwise. At nearly 4 hours long, this was no Justice League. It was a drab, miserable whodunit mystery that was clearly a set of television episodes strung together to make a movie. Problem with that is, if the editor initially aimed to make the edits work for a show, it's just not going to work as a movie. I'm sorry, this was definitely a no-go for me. At number 6 is Dolphin Island at 44%. One of the more memorable bad movies for me because it was a movie called Dolphin Island that had like no dolphins in it whatsoever. It was instead all about a custody battle between a bunch of grumpy old geezers and a young girl. Entertainment at its finest. Now we're on to the bottom 5 of the year. At number 5 is Ouija Japan at 40%, which was yet again another screener, and yeah, the main thing that attracted me to see this movie was the idea that Japanese people have their own Ouija board game with a similar rule set. But once it turned into a battle royale situation, I was just confused. And with magical apps on phones, it's just a giant mess and a half. At number 4 is Hostage with a score of 40%. Yes, another screener, and this was what I want to say was an attempt at a character study on what innocent and guilty means and how everybody's guilty in their own way, since you had a guy breaking and entering into a house, which is already bad, but he's also the victim because the people who live there end up tying him up and start terrorizing the dude. Somewhere in there lies an interesting idea, but the execution was just, I don't know, completely forgettable, I guess. At number 3 is another screener, Royal Jelly at 38%. This was one of the weirdest movies that I think I saw all year, about a girl that's obsessed with bees, but like in Dolphin Island, there's really not that many bees to be found. This girl leaves her parents' house and goes living with her weird teacher who lives with other weird people. Weird things happen, and I don't know, I'll just say somebody was drugged out when they wrote it. Okay? The second worst movie all year was one of the most disappointing movies for me, and that was the next installment for Paranormal Activity, which is Paranormal Activity Next of Kin at 32%. This thing was a travesty. It shouldn't have ever been called Paranormal Activity because the story that was seen in all the others wasn't there, and it was barely even found footage. I mean, there's shots here and there where the angle doesn't even make sense, filmed by, I guess, nothing without a camera. I mean, it was terrible, unscary, and a far cry of what the series was all about up to this point. That brings us to the worst movie of 2021 so far. All this could change, of course, but for now, ladies and gentlemen, it's Roe v. Wade at 30%. This heaping pile of burning crap was really the only movie on Roe v. Wade that we've ever gotten, and it is conservative Christian propaganda that slanders the importance of what happened in that case. As a criminal justice major, this was the only movie all year that actually offended me to my core. If you can even call it a movie. But I mean, that's it. That's my list. A lot of people say weird things like, this blockbuster I saw was the worst movie of the year. Yeah, well, that's because you limit yourself to well-known and talked about movies. You haven't seen everything that exists out there. If you have, you'd be kind of surprised how horrible a movie can actually be. But at the same rate, how wonderful a movie can be as well. Hidden gems are found in the world of independent films that have yet to be seen, and until you see them, you won't believe it. But anyways, how about you guys? What do you think are the worst of the worst of the worst movies seen this year? Let me know in the comment section down below, and until next time, peace out.